It's the planet's ultimate game.
It's Carvajal's cross. Rodrigo. Oh, extraordinary. They prayed for miracles, and miracles arrived. Real Madrid, the team of dreams.
Xhaka's corner shot. A game of the Arsenal bench. This is the lead.
Would the tilted? Guess who's never went away?
It's 2-1. A phenomenon.
What's happening, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of The Final Third. It's me, Sam, aka FIFA Brit, and I am joined by my co-host, Mr. Brad Thomas. Brad, we've had a couple of weeks off. The international break has happened. That was something that happens to all of us, whether we liked it to or not, and we're finally through to the other side. So, I mean, I think I've just conveyed my opinion on the international break, but how did you find it?
Freaking hated it, man.
Okay, good.
Like, whatever. If you're looking at Asia, you're looking at Africa, you're looking at Europe, the Americas, it's freaking terrible. I don't know. Like, it just feels like we play a lot of matches that really don't matter. And you're like, these teams you could visually see they do not care.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I'm like, we'll be so glad when this weekend comes and we can actually bet on some real quality footy.
I know. Thank goodness. This one, I mean, I know I shit on the international breaks a lot, but honestly, in the grand scheme of things, sometimes they're not bad. There's still value to be found. This window was particularly frustrating. There was a lot of low effort, and there were a lot of incredibly early subs that really pissed me off.
Yeah.
Guys getting yanked at halftime just for the sake of rotation. You know, not even like no fatigue, just like they wanted to try something new. Like, and it's like fair enough. But I mean, it just makes me miss first half shots. I miss not having to worry about subs.
Yes. Right. And what's funny too is like a lot of the guys I bet shot props this week, even if they played like the 90, they would hit whatever their first half shot line would be. And you'd be like,
yeah,
is this guy gonna take another freaking shot?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I had to, or just nothing would happen. I mean, I got very fortunate in that I got this gorgeous assist parlay that hit like in South America, you know, and I'm always the first one to shit on South American footy because it's so slow. It's so full of hacks and stuff, you know, usually low scoring. And then in the Paraguay-Argentina game, I saw Diego Gomez was starting for Paraguay, and I think he'd come off the bench before, but I think it might have been his first like international start, having just had a very good season for Inter Miami, and I think he's now moving to the Prem. I think maybe in January, I think he's going to the Prem. I can't remember who's signing him. I think it might be like Fulham or someone like that. I got to go double check that. But he's a young player. He's like 20 years old, and he's getting his first like international, you know, like a proper run in the international side. And I was like, okay, his assist was listed at 70 plus 1700, and I was like, yeah, I'm definitely taking that. And then I took an Enzo Fernandez assist at plus 1000, having just had 3 assists for Chelsea in the cup, and I was just like, yeah, okay, I'll play him separately and I'll parlay him together. And then I did, and they both hit, and I was just like, okay, like that locked in like $1,000 right there, and I was just like,
"That's sick."
And thank God for that, because the rest of the international break was horrific.
I'm glad
thank God for that.
I don't think I had anything that I was like super stoked about, like, and like at the beginning of the international break, I don't even think I was like putting bets in, and then I was like, okay, I'm getting bored. Let's start betting on some stuff, which really is never what you want to do.
Hey, we don't try this at home, kids. We don't advocate for that.
Yeah, I was like, bro, like I was just thinking about like I placed the bet on AFCON, and I was like, I watched it like die miserably. It ended 0-0, and I was like, well, I should just bet the under. And I go, you know what? I'm just gonna live bet every AFCON game that I get a chance, because there's gonna be something worth live betting, especially if we get an early goal. Then I started doing that. And then I was like, well, in the Asias, like if I get like South Korea, who's in a tie game in the 70th minute, like just hammer their live corners. Like that's all I started to do. And I was like, oh, well, at least we're making some money, but it was freaking horrible to watch.
I know. And then, of course, the exciting games are the ones that don't have full props listed. You know, I mean, like Sweden plays so well. You've got Isak and Gyökeres up top with Kulusevski right behind them, and it's just like, hey, FanDuel, do you want to list like their assists at the bare minimum? I don't need their shots, but like assists would be nice. But no, they just only list England, France, Germany, the Netherlands, and then like Scotland for the vibes.
Yeah.
They list all the big countries. That's it.
What's frustrating about that too is like you're like looking for lines on like you get to like the fourth book and you're like, okay, maybe I don't have lines. And then you see someone on X cash a ticket on a guy and you're like, are you fucking kidding me? Like I looked on like 5 books.
For Zinchenko?
6th book you gave up.
I know you were talking about Zinchenko, right? You wanted his shot props or something?
No, I had someone else look too. Yeah, I wanted to take a shot on target.
Yeah, he was. I found that that the Camby books, Bally and Bet Rivers, had a lot of shots and assist lines for games that other books didn't, which was really nice. But the problem is, I mean, thank God for Bally launching in New York because I am limited to $1.14 on Bet Rivers now, which is an incredibly. I mean, that's just rude. At least Fanatics has the quote unquote decency, relatively speaking, to let me get $10 down. Because then typically I can't bet straight bets on Fanatics, which is annoying because sometimes they have really nice shot lines. They're like really inconsistent. Like sometimes they'll be god awful. Like their line will be a full shot away from what I can get elsewhere. And then sometimes they'll give you like plus odds on a guy that take 2 shots. That's like minus 140 everywhere else. Very inconsistent. But I just can't take my straight bets there because my unit's $100. But I do, but at least I can shop for like lottos there because if for me, like a 1/10 of a unit's gonna be $10. I can get $10 out on Fanatics. So if I can find if I can parlay 2 shot lines together, that's gonna give me like a plus 4,000 or something. That might be like double the odds elsewhere. Brilliant. At least I can get my slightly degen action down on Fanatics. Bet Rivers is just impossible. What use is it? I'm not giving out a bet if I can only get $1 down on it. That's just, I might say, hey, here's the best line. And then, by the way, I'll be like, here's the best line. And I'm going to take it on this book. Like if that book has odds that I'm willing to take, then at least I'll say that. But that rarely happens because usually the Camby book odds are so good, especially this international break. Like, for example, one of the few shot bets I actually did hit was Ericsson over 1.5 shots. I think it was the last game they played. I forget who they played. I think it was Serbia. Yeah, it was Serbia.
Yeah, I took over 1.5.
Over 1.5 shots at plus 105 or something like that. And on FanDuel, his line was 3. You could get like minus 120 for 3 shots, and 2 shots was like minus 300. And it's just like, no, I'm not going to give that out. It's basically get my action down on a Camby book or nothing. So thank God that Bally launched in New York like a few months ago, and I can actually get, for now, I can get a full unit down if I want to. I have a strong feeling that won't last, but we'll see. At least I have that as an option. But they had assists and they had shots for games that weren't listed, which at least gave me the option to bet on it. But even then, I just didn't bet that much on the international break because after a few days, I was just like, this is just not. It's not worth it. There's way too much variance.
Way too much. Like you said earlier, players coming out early, I don't even know which team wants to win. Like I'm looking at the table and I'm like, yeah, this team doesn't want to try. Holy shit, they have 14 shots at halftime. What was the point of that, Yeah.
I know. It was so frustrating. But I guess, thank God for the assist play. That helped a lot. And then really I was just like live betting goal scorers, because I was just like, okay, if a guy subs in, that guy's not coming out. So at least then I can have some fun. And it was great. The MLS guys really delivered for me. Like I got the Diego Gomez assist. That was, straight and in the lotto. And then I also bet on this guy, Mark Juck or something like that. He plays for Real Salt Lake. They just signed him. He's one of a lot of MLS teams have been signing, rather than signing like the old players, they've been signing these players from the B tier European leagues.
Yeah.
like Amal Pellegrino went to San Jose. Hugo Kuipers went to Chicago. Like a bunch of those guys. Like they were playing in like the Belgian league, you know, like those like not you know, they're not playing at the top, but they're going from like the smaller leagues, going to the MLS, doing a couple of years there, hoping to get like noticed by the big leagues in Europe, and then going back over, which is fine by me. And they just signed him from I forget where they signed him from, but they got him, and they got Diego Gonçalves, who played for PSV, no, a different team. Which I'm blanking on, but they have like El Yunusi. I'm blanking on the team, but they just Copenhagen.
Yeah.
Yep, that's it. That's exactly who it is. So they just signed him, and they signed Marchuk from someone from another league that I don't know, but he's a right winger, and he's been, you know, he can score, he can assist, and obviously his assist wasn't listed live because no one lists live assists, but I'm like, this guy's playing as an attacker. He subbed on for. Was it Poland? Yeah, Poland, because Mateusz Bogusz, who plays for LAFC, started. Mm-hmm. He subbed off at halftime, and I was like, thank God I didn't bet him. He subbed off at halftime. Marchuk subbed in, and I was like, okay, he was basically plus 2,000 to score, and I was like, as an attacker, that's absurd. That's like, I'm absolutely he is not being priced as an attacker.
That like at those prices for anybody attack, like you have to just take it. It's like mandatory.
Exactly. And then and then I think it was like plus 80, like 1800, and he scored in the 88th minute. And you know, that made up for like the whole, you know, that made up for the day not being brilliant, you know. And like the same thing for the guy that plays for the Revs, Esmir Basat. I'm not going to pronounce it. I just call him Esmir. But he is Bosnian, and he subbed on with like 25 minutes to go, and he's a striker. He's like a literal striker or a winger, and he was listed at plus 3,500, and I was just like, yeah, that's so worth it. He didn't score, but like I'm absolutely going to take those odds every time, absolutely every time. So, but yeah, international break was a weird one. That being said, I did enjoy watching England. This is a really fun weekend. This is a fun weekend. This is a fun window for England because all of our big players basically didn't turn up. I mean, apart from Kane and Jude came, but we had a lot of people who were injured. Palmer's been hurt. Saka's been hurt. Rice has been hurt. So Trent has been hurt. So they all dropped out. So, you know, Lee Carsley, who in the grand scheme of things, he hasn't been seriously tested, but I am happy with the time that we got. He was a real breath of fresh air post Southgate. He got us attacking again, which was really nice, you know, because Southgate was effective in knockout ball to a certain extent. He got us to the latter stages, couldn't quite get it across the line, but it always felt like we were playing in spite of Southgate's tactics, whereas Carsley at least took big swings, you know. We played very free-flowing. We were putting up 20, 25 shots a game, which was we never did that under Southgate.
Yeah, it was fun.
We had that one game against Greece. That was the only game that he lost, by the way, but at least he took a risk when he rocked up with Saka, Foden, Palmer, Bellingham, and Gordon in the same lineup. And I was just like, fuck it, this isn't going to work, but, you know, I'm excited to see this. 5 attackers on the pitch at the same time, you know, and you know what? It failed. But he said in his post-match interview, we wanted to try something different. It didn't pay off. That's, you know, we live and we learn. And I was just like, do you know what? Yeah, fair enough. I think he knew that this was not going to be his job full time. He didn't seem interested in it, but we played very attacking. He gave chances to the young players, you know, because he used to be the manager of the under-21s, which I hope he's able to go back to because, you know, we won the under-21 Euros with him, and I hope he's able to go back. I hope he's able to go back to that job. Yeah, I hope he's able to go back to that job. And so, you know, he gave chances to the youth. He did well, and I think he's really set us up nicely in a post-Southgate era for Tuchel to take over next year. So that's a really optimistic. I mean, I'm always optimistic as an England fan. I always feel like I have to be optimistic with the squad that we have, but we'll see. It's a good time for England.
Yeah, it is. I'm interested to see how US pan out tactically with Tuchel. Like,
Yeah, I'm so worried Saka's going to be a wing back.
oh God,
I can just see it coming, but we'll see. I need to do a little in-depth breakdown into Tuchel's tactics and then put out a few mock lineups about how I think he's going to play. Sadly, in all of them, I kind of see Saka being a left wing back. I really hope he's not.
yeah,
We'll see. I mean, it really depends what formation he likes, but God, that man loves a 3-5-2.
yeah,
He really does.
That'll be fun.
Yeah. Speaking
Not
of
fun, but it'll be fun.
Yeah, well, it'll be. Look, I mean, look. Here's the thing. If I don't mind if Saka plays wing back, we know he's good at it.
Yeah.
We know he can. That's the thing. He's such a brilliant asset because he can play basically anywhere, and he will do it very well. So if that's what's required, then that's what's required. It's just going to be frustrating dealing with all the stupid international fans who are like, "Oh, Saka didn't score or assist today." It's just like, yeah, he's playing as a fucking defender, you idiot. Like, look, hey, if he's not assisting, then okay, maybe, well, depending on his crosses, we'll make that judgment when we get there. But I can just see people being stupid.
Yep.
God forbid Palmer and Foden get held to the same standards. God forbid. We as a nation, as a society, have let Foden getting 0 goals and 0 assists in 7 starts at the Euros get completely wiped under the rug. That is not right. Because we know damn well if Saka had done that, we would never hear the end of it. At least Palmer gets an excuse because he wasn't getting started.
Yeah. Well, you know how it is. They like to put a little pressure, more pressure, or at least more expectation.
Oh, yeah. It is what it is. Hey, do you know what? If Saka's the benchmark, Saka's the benchmark. But enough about Arsenal players. I wanted to talk about Poch. We'll round out this international break, but the US look really good under Pochettino. I mean, they had that one little blip against Mexico, but they'd sent half the first team home at that point when they played Mexico. And since then, they've been scoring basically at will. I mean, Pulisic's in the form of his life, which helps. But Tim Weah's finally back in the side ever since he heroically got sent off to get Belhata fired. But Weah scored. Pulisic scored a brace. Pepe's scoring. Pepe looks really good. The team is finally cooking.
The team looks fun, right? Like,
it just goes to show how beautiful the US team can be without the influence of the Belharters and the Rainers. Dude,
thank God. I mean, granted, they did play Jamaica twice, right? Like,
Jamaica's good. I mean, not good, but like they're
not
they're
horrible.
Still decent. They're still decent.
I was happy. I was really happy. I think this team's got a lot of potential under Poch because people who don't follow soccer that close, what people forget is Poch is really good at developing young talent, right? And that's what we needed, someone to develop these guys, play more free-flowing football, and with Poch, that's super exciting.
Yeah, there was a brilliant stat that Opta tweeted out. And it was something like the US in their game in that second leg of the quarterfinals.
Yeah.
I don't want to misquote it, but I'm going to do my best to remember it correctly. They took 5, it's either 5 shots with 10 or more passes in the build-up, or 10 shots with 5 or more passes in the build-up. Either one. And that was the first time it had happened since 2010.
Yeah.
And even if it's 10 shots with 5 passes in the build-up, you think that's kind of a low number. But that just shows, that just goes to show that they're playing a very structured, possession-based, build-up style of play that's actually working.
Yeah.
Rather than just taking pot shots from basically anywhere.
Yep.
And they were creating dangerous chances. I mean, it helps that Pulisic's in the form of his life, obviously. But I think having Poch at the wheel,
whatever Pulisic's doing, whatever he's drinking, whatever he's eating, keep doing that shit for 2 more years because this dude is in fuego for club and country. It's nuts.
I know, it's great. I just think the US needs a better back line. Well, I think they need better center backs.
Yeah,
because the outside backs you've got. I mean, Anthony Robinson is going to be the locked-in left back for years now, which is gorgeous. It's so nice to have someone that's recognize, like he gets put in Premier League Team of the Season shouts in the left back position, which is beautiful. Americans never really get that kind of recognition in defense.
Yeah.
Americans have always produced good goalkeepers, and actually right now that's a problem of concern for the US because they have an abundance of mid keepers. There's no one standout keeper.
Yeah.
Like Turner is not getting regular playing time. Stop playing him, please. Just stop playing him at this point. He's got the distribution skills of a toddler.
Yep.
He's got decent shot stopping ability, but he can't kick it out with his feet. We've got Zach Steffen, who in his defense had a good Leagues Cup for the Rapids. He had a good tournament. That being said, he was arguably one of the worst goalkeepers in the MLS in the entire season. And he had a good tournament, and that's what got him a call up at the time, but he should not be getting called up now, especially when, and I'm biased here, Matt Freese, the NYCFC goalkeeper, is constantly being disrespected. This man is being disrespected by the MLS. They didn't nominate him for 3 of the all-star goalkeeper spots, and they didn't nominate him for goalkeeper of the year, even though he's arguably been NYCFC's most important player. And he's American. He's 24, 25 years old. Don't get it. Meanwhile, they're giving starts to the American that plays for Barcelona, but it's never stepped on the field for them. Why? I don't even know his name.
I don't either. What's the name?
But they're bringing 4 goalkeepers. I don't know. It makes no sense.
Stupid.
But I think once we can finally phase Tim Ream out of this side, I respect the guy's experience. But he can't be starting at centre back anymore. I'm sorry, this guy's too slow.
He's way too slow. He freaking sucks, man.
We'll get there, but
he's 37 years old too.
I think he's like 38 at this point.
Yeah, he's
old. But so once the US gets a couple of decent
been playing pretty good too. Like that's really exciting.
Yeah. Who, Miles, I assume? Not Anthony. I mean, Anthony is playing well, but
no, Anthony.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought you were talking about the centre back. That's the problem. We have 2 Robinsons in the team. Anthony Robinson is playing well. That's what I'm saying. He's he's recognized by Premier League fans.
It's like you have someone playing really well, and then the guy beside him is fucking old and slow. And you want Robinson to get up further up the pitch, but then you're like, well, fucking slow ass Tim Ream's back there.
Yeah. Hey, I mean, look, it's working now. For now, it's working. So looking forward, I mean, obviously, I want to see him play Mexico, and let's be honest, the final of this. This CONCACAF tournament is probably going to be Mexico-US, although I think Canada can give Mexico a run for their money in the semis.
I think so too. With Canada, it's just moment of time, what's the word? Just let it come. It's not happening overnight. It's not going to happen overnight with Jesse Marsch, but just keep working at it, and this team's going to be good. Yeah,
I mean, Jonathan David's been around for ages, and this guy's he's still young somehow. When we just talking about this, he's 24 years old or something. Feels like he's 30. I feel like we've been talking about him for years, but he's been around forever. I mean, Kyle Larin actually is kind of old, I think. But Jacob Schaffelberg is a baller, and he's 22, so that makes me happy. So he's playing well. So, but look, we'll see. It's a bright time. It's a bright time for North America, and yeah. In general, it's, the international break wasn't good for betting, but it was good for other things. Good for observing.
Good for observing, for sure.
Unless you were a Madrid fan and you had to watch Vinny continue to do absolutely fuck all for Brazil.
Go ahead, my bad.
I tweeted out, and I mean, again, I was kind of fishing for interactions. You know how it be. Sometimes you gotta lean for it. And I was just like, and this was before the penalty miss. I said, if Vinny continues to not deliver for Brazil and Rafinha continues in the form that he's in, the debates are going to get really interesting. That's all I'm saying.
I saw that tweet.
And people were just like, how can you even say Rafinha's as good as Vinny? And I was just like, I didn't say that. I just said the debate would be really interesting. And then Vinny missed a penalty.
He missed a penalty. And also, it's funny because, this Brazil team is, down so bad. And, they're waiting for Vinny to just, take it over and do what he does at Madrid. That's you do this at Madrid. Why don't you do this with us? That's what it feels like.
Mm-hmm. I feel like I've said this on the podcast before, but I don't. I feel like we have, because we've talked about Brazil being terrible before. But
yeah,
one of my friends on Twitter from Australia, Cameron, said the problem with Brazil right now is that they're not playing Brazilian football. They've been sucked into this Pep-inspired, very positional, focused, rigid, possession-based football, and they've lost all of their flair. And I think that's part of the problem. I think the other part of the problem is their coach is not coaching, and then they're not being given any identity. But I think that's part of it. There's just no, this Brazilian team used to be fun. You know what I mean? Think 10 years ago. I mean, I know 10 years ago they got embarrassed by Germany in their own World Cup, but they had Neymar, they had Oscar, they had, think about players like that. We don't have, how many players like Oscar do we have nowadays that are just just a pure number 10 for the vibes? Yeah. Who dribbles for fun these days? It's just
no one.
I feel like we don't see players like that anymore because they're being told not to.
Two of them too.
Yeah, I know. I mean, even think about, you think about the olden days when Shakhtar Donetsk used to have literally their entire front line of midfielders used to be exclusively Brazilian. You would look at the Shakhtar, if you played Ultimate Team and you look at the Shakhtar squad, their back line full of Ukrainians, them attacking mids and wingers and strikers, all Brazilians. That was the Shakhtar team. It was big fucking 6'6" Ukrainian machines in the back, followed by 5'4" tiny ass Brazilian wingers that would just do step overs and shit like that. That was such a vibe. And they just don't make players like that anymore. And if they do make players like that, they're being told not to do that.
Yeah.
Which I feel like is, if you're going to be a Brazilian team, at least play to your Brazilian strengths. These boys are playing football in the favelas. They grew up on the streets. We want to see their street ball, but they're not. They're trying to play pep ball without pep.
Yeah, it's horrible. It's horrible to watch. It's horrible for their results. They don't get good results. So.
Yeah, that's the thing. At least if they were grinding out results, you could get it, but they're not even winning stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, finally, I think they're being talked about, but definitely during the World Cup and the other tournaments, they were just not being talked about the way that England are being talked about. But it's the same thing. It's the same, you have a squad of really talented players, and yet they're just not delivering expectations.
Yeah.
But at least with England, we kind of know the problem. I mean, it's all coaching, I think. At the end of the day, it's all coaching. It's just a different problem with the coaching in each team. But yeah, we will see. I feel like we kind of touched upon, the last thing I have for the international break was how good Gyökeres is. We kind of touched on Sweden absolutely cooking, but I think we really have to talk about where this guy is going to end up, because I'll tell you what, and Jerry, who's on the soccer research team with me and Gold Boys, sent us a line on 365. It was a bet about and he was he sent me the Arsenal line. It was plus 12 or 1400, but the bet was where will he be in May 2025, which is right before the summer window. So summer transfers wouldn't count. It would only be the January window. And Sporting were minus 400, and I was just I would take that. He's not leaving in January. I don't see a world where Sporting, who are currently fourth in the Champions League standings, by the way, there's zero chance they sell him in January in the middle of a Champions League campaign.
No, I think the talk too, if the talk has been in the summer.
I agree wholeheartedly. So if you don't mind laying a minus 400, I don't see him leaving Sporting in January. The real question is, where is he going to end up in the summer? And look, I know he's getting linked to Man U because obviously Amarin is now the manager of Man U, but I just don't see Man U buying another striker. That would be just so frustrating. I get that it's Gyökeres and he's a very good striker, but you can't sign Holden 2 summers ago, Xerxes a summer ago, and then sign another striker. You just can't do that.
You cannot.
So rule that out. Rule Man U out. And then you think Chelsea, and Chelsea. You say Chelsea don't need another striker, but they absolutely would buy one for the sake of it. I'm hoping they'll be distracted by Osimhen coming back on the market. Go buy him, please. I just want Gyökeres at Arsenal.
Yeah, I think it's going to be.
Please.
I don't know. I think that with Chelsea, they're going to see so much turnover because they're going to freaking sell so many of these dudes because their squad's just too massive. I wouldn't be surprised if they at least make a run at him.
I don't think they're going to sell anyone. Not significantly. I think they love having this big squad.
You think so? I think they just
because
I think they do it because just to keep people happy.
But we made fun of them over the summer. Everyone made fun of them over the summer for the size of their squad. And now they are literally able to field 2 separate 11s in the they play one starting 11 in the Conference League and then just have a completely different 11 in the Premier League. And assuming that the players are okay with that, that's fine. I guess it saves the travel. They just send a different squad. It's not like these guys are on the bench. Palmer's not even registered in the Conference League group stage team. I assume they'll register him for the knockouts, but he's not even registered. It's literally 2 separate squads. And like at the time, everyone was like, you can't run a team like that. But I guess if they're okay with it, you can.
True.
But that's most people just assume they wouldn't be okay with it. Now, it gets interesting when let's not assume. Let's say they get into the Europa League. Maybe they push for a Champions League spot. I think they will I think they can come fourth. I think they can do that. It'll be a push, but I think it'll be, Liverpool, City, Arsenal in some order will be the top 3. I think Chelsea can come fourth. That's doable for them. If they don't, if they come into the Europa League, okay, fair enough. It's a big step up from the Conference League. Now you really need to bring your big players to Europe. You can't just leave Cole Palmer at home.
Yeah.
Then it's going to get interesting. So it's not as big of a deal this season, but next season, then you start being like, oh, now we need to start offering competition for spots. Then we'll see. But I don't think they need to have this mass offload of players.
Yeah.
I mean, look, we'll see.
We'll see.
Don't forget they've got Sterling coming back. I mean, he'll get sold somewhere, but he's been a waste for Arsenal. I mean, I know it's only a loan and we're only paying half of his wages, but he's done fuck all. I was so excited too. I thought we could redeem him. No, we can't. He was just not good. Not the standard required. Oh well. It is what it is. Hopefully he ends up at Arsenal. But I could see Gyökeres ending up at Barcelona. That would piss me off, but I could see that happening. Because they need someone to replace Lewandowski when Lewandowski finally wraps up. And honestly, if they do well in the Champions League, they make a run, they win the Liga while Madrid, down and out. I could sadly see that happening. And I really don't want it to happen, but I feel like if the Prem just doesn't work out, I could see that happening.
Yeah.
But I guess we'll see. Alrighty. We've yapped about the news. We've yapped about the international break. Let's get into the weekend action. And don't forget, we've got Champions League back as well. So we've got some next week action as well to talk about. But let's get started in England. Let's talk about the Premier League. Now, we got an early kickoff again on Saturday morning. As much as I expressed my desire to have the Friday afternoon kickoff, get rid of the Saturday early morning kickoff, they didn't listen. They're not doing it. So we're back at the 7:30 a.m. wake up for the Eastern Coast, which is just miserable. But it's Leicester against Chelsea. And this one's fun because this is Enzo Maresca's return to Leicester. He managed Leicester last season, got them out of the Championship, then moved to Chelsea when Chelsea got rid of Poch. So now it's the big return, and Leicester are the home team. So I think it's going to be a fun game, but it's also one of those games that's priced like it's going to be a fun game. So I'm not sure how much value there actually is on either side.
And it's funny too, because this you're like, oh, the over is gonna be smashed. I actually think this has a chance to go under, way under. But I did take Chelsea team total over 2.5. I just feel like Enzo knows his old team so well. They're already not good defensively. They can see almost 2 goals per contest. And then Chelsea, what I thought was, or what I think about cool from betting a Chelsea perspective against lesser teams this year is when they go to make those 60th minute subs, we talked about their squad size, right? There's a bunch of dudes who are hungry to get meaningful playing time. Yeah. So they're going to come in trying to fire, and it's just a lot of time. You're up a goal. I parlayed their team total 1.5, right? You're up a goal or up 2 goals, and João Felix comes in at the 60th. You think he's just going to be passing the ball around? Not a chance.
No, he shoots.
Go and try to score. Yeah.
Same with Nkunku. Whenever Nkunku subs on, because Nkunku's got an absurd goals to minutes ratio. Whenever he subs on, I always take him because one, he'll take pens. If Palmer gets taken off, Nkunku will take the pen. And he's also just a good striker. So
Yep.
He's usually my go-to one, but Felix loves to shoot. I would be more prone to trusting Leicester a little bit, but you know what's a bummer? Buonanotte is suspended.
Suspended.
Through yellow card accumulation.
They're really banged up. They have a lot of injured players.
Yeah, it's really frustrating. So who's going to start? Mavididi would be nice.
Yeah.
Fatawu, the right winger.
I think he's out too.
Really? Damn. Okay,
yeah.
I'm kind of screwed.
Even Ayu's out.
Oh wow.
I don't know. Like, obviously, these guys can play, but they're listed as doubts now.
It all comes down to a 40-year-old Jamie Vardy. I guess we'll see.
I mean, he's been scoring shit.
He has been scoring. He'll get one break in behind.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't really have anything for this game because I don't think you can even do both teams to score over 2.5, which is kind of a bummer.
No.
But even then, I'm not even sure if Leicester scored. Like they probably will, but like I don't want to put money on it.
Not a chance. Not a chance.
Not the odds we're getting
real money on that.
Yeah, but I'll wake up to see what the lineup gives us. But honestly, this could be a prime candidate for waking up, putting lineups, looking at lineups, putting the bets in, if anything, and going right back to sleep.
Yeah,
but we will see. Bournemouth, Brighton. This is a game you can actually bet for goals because I think there will be goals. You can get both teams to score over 2.5 at -130 on FanDuel, and that's again I haven't even shopped that around. But I see this game having goals. Both these teams love to attack. None of them are good at defending.
Neither are good at defending. I didn't bet this game. I don't even know what the total is. I kind of stayed away. I haven't been really good at. Oh, it's over 3. I haven't really been good at like figuring Bournemouth out this season. And Brighton, they have some cats that call them what you want. These dudes know how to score goals, and they always stay in it. I was like looking at the price, and I was like, maybe I would take Brighton at the +0.25. Like that would probably be where I'd lean, but I couldn't get there to the window.
Fair enough. I would love it if João Pedro is back and ready to start this game. He came off the bench against City, scored off the bench, which was great to see. But that would make me really happy because as much as I love Welbeck, João Pedro is just is better. He's very much a better player. But Brighton just have so many good players. Both these teams have shooters. This is a game where I wish we had first half shots. But sadly we do not. But if Ruta starts with Brighton, he's a guy that can put up 4 or 5 shots. If you really want to.
Oh my God, yes.
Mitoma not so much, but sometimes the value is really good on him because he either takes no shots and is all crosses, or he will take 4 just out of nowhere. But we'll see. But the problem is they're all priced like ass. All of their players' lines are to take 4 shots, maybe to take 3 shots. If you want Semenyo for 4 shots, plus 140, João Pedro plus 160. This is for 4 shots. That's a lot of shots.
Yeah, I was thinking if you took the shots in this game, you'd have to do a builder.
Yeah, I think so. Unless you want to get a freaky, you go Semenyo and Ruta 5 shots each at plus 270. Or plus 2,700, not 2,700.
I was like, what?
Sorry, I know. I was like, this is not that bad.
I was like, no way, dude, no way.
But sorry, I dropped 0 off there. But yeah, no, plus 2,700.
What's funny too is I was about to say, okay, I know you said the prices are bad, but come on,
not that bad. That would be rough. But it could be a fun game. But I think betting the goals, if you can get both teams to score over 2.5, -130 or better, I would take that if all the main guys are starting because Bournemouth should score and Brighton can always get 2. It doesn't matter what situation they're in; they can always find 2.
Agreed.
But we'll see. That's a fun one. Arsenal against Forest. I put in my little notes for this game brackets: Are Forest being disrespected here? And it's kind of it's difficult to say that because Arsenal at home are really, really good.
Yeah.
And look, Saka's questionable, but he's basically always questionable at this point. Odegaard is seemingly back and healthy. He got the international break. He got the international break off, thank God.
Got some time to rest.
So let's say that Arsenal have their full strength squad available. I mean, well, Ben White's out, Calafiori's out, so the defense is a little shaky. But look, Arsenal should win this game, even though Forest are playing really well. But I think there's potential value on Forest just to score a goal. You could get both teams. You could get both teams to score at basically even money. And if you want Forest just to score a goal, Forest team total over 0.5, it's like -105.
I was close to taking Forest plus what was it, plus 1.25, but I was like, I don't want to like just get half my stake back when Arsenal wins this by 1. I think on BetUS I was like, this just feels like a game where Arsenal win by exactly 1.
I don't know. Well, here's the thing. I think if we have our full squad playing, if Odegaard is playing, if Havertz is playing up top, if Saka's playing, if Martinelli's on the wing, I think we can hang 3 or 4 goals on them. The thing is, I think it's unlikely we'll keep a clean sheet, especially if Chris Wood is playing. You know, he's been in the form of his life right now. Also, if you want a Chris Wood goal, it's above plus 400.
Holy smokes.
You know, like that's so tempting. But look,
my only problem is,
yeah.
I don't know how Chris Wood scores, just because like
that's fair.
It's gonna be someone more pacey if that goal's gonna come. Like I don't like, this is one of those games where if you bet Arsenal first half corner handicap, like go ahead and take that motherfucker because it's 100% hitting.
That's fair. Well, now I've got an even more interesting angle. Is Ryan Yates shots. He's a center mid, so you know he's going to be ripping from distance. And if they get a corner, if they somehow manage to find themselves getting a corner, he's usually a header target as well. But Ryan Yates to take 2 shots is usually even money. It's plus 230 against Arsenal, which is like probably fair. To be fair, Arsenal have a really good shot defense, assuming we keep 11 men on the field. That is. But that could be really fun because usually if a team is like good defensively, then it usually forces teams to shoot from further out, which usually means the center mids getting action. And that's Ryan Yates territory right there. But we'll see. You know, I mean, Arsenal should win this. There's very little value elsewhere. Like if you want to take shots, you need Saka to take 4 shots. If you want to get any value out of that, like 4 shots on FanDuel for Saka is plus 105. And, you know, God forbid you want to go goal contribution. Saka to score or assist is minus 130. Not brilliant. Like, you know, I've seen better.
Yeah.
And, I mean, look, what could be fun is Odegaard assist at plus 280. I think that's tempting. But outside of that, it's really it's really just kind of like, will Arsenal get the business done at home, which they should.
Probably.
But it's priced that way. But look, who knows? Look, we haven't been in brilliant form recently, Brad. We've played 6 games in the last month and won 2 of them. So, you know, we're not in the best form right now. But look, we'll see. We will see. Speaking of teams in not brilliant form, let's talk about Aston Villa. And I recorded a video for this for the Gold Boys YouTube channel, which hasn't come out yet. It will be out. I don't know when it's coming out. Probably on Friday, maybe. But I was just like, hey, you look at Aston Villa at home against Crystal Palace. You see the money line at like minus 160, minus 170, and you're like, Aston Villa is supposed to be really good, right? Crystal Palace aren't playing well at all this season. This feels like a really good deal. Then you look at Aston Villa's last 4 games and you realize they've lost 4 in a row.
Yeah, they've lost 4 in a row across the country. I said the international break was like the best thing to happen for that. They're like the team who benefited the most.
Yeah. They needed a rest.
They needed rest big time. What did I have for this game? Hold on, I can't remember. It was a pass for me. Also, might not be Ezra might not be playing in this game too. Which
that's what I was saying. That's what I was saying in the video as well. I mean, it'd be such a bummer if he doesn't play. I mean, even if he does play, I don't know if Palace can create, because like that's been the problem all season, is they just haven't been able to consistently put together attacks, even with Eze in the lineup, which just makes no sense to me.
Yeah,
I mean, it makes sense when you realize that Elise is not in the team anymore. But like, my standards were low, but like, do better, guys.
Yeah,
so that's really disappointing. Yeah, I don't think I'll touch this one. It really depends on the lineup for both sides, but Villa really should win this. It's a big bounce back opportunity at home against a struggling Palace side. I really think you need to, assuming Ollie Watkins is firing at all cylinders, you've still got Duran, who's kind of cooled off a little bit recently, but you still got him off the bench. Morgan Rogers, Morgan Rogers did well in the international break. He was originally named in the under-21 side and then got called up to the senior squad, which was, great to see. So hopefully they carry some of that confidence from the break into this game against Palace.
The good news is, like, for Villa, like, the goals that they allow are like these really great goals, like from these really like players who have high quality to do that. Like, I mean, if there's no Eza playing, Kamada's out.
Yeah,
like, who's making that goal? Like, who's shooting that goal and scoring?
And maybe Nketiah on the 10 shots he'll take.
Yeah, was Nketiah even playing though? Like, I don't think Nketiah is playing either.
You should. I mean, who else have they got? You got Mateta.
No, I mean, I didn't know. I cannot remember his health and availability. He's the only one.
Oh, he should. I'm pretty sure he's healthy.
He's okay. I couldn't remember. I know they're another team with a lot of injuries, but I couldn't remember him specifically. What he's got.
I think Mateta and
Mateta's in. Yeah, Mateta's
fine. Nketiah's playing, and it's really just a matter of who's going to play in that front three with them. Probably Sarr.
Yeah, probably Sarr. And
that's
really
really
his freaking 1.5 shots again.
Yeah, because he always gets priced like he's still playing in that outside mid, kind of like wing back role. Whenever they put him in the left wing role, Morbe's just like, yep, that's a hammer spot for me. Give me those 2 shots any day.
Yeah,
which is always nice to see. But yeah, I guess we'll see what happens there. Let's talk about Fulham against Wolves. Now, originally, I didn't have this game listed here, but I had a really fun stat that I wanted to share, which I saw the XG Philosophy account tweeted it out, and I didn't believe it, and then I had to go cross-reference it, and it is true. Ever since the first game of the season, so not including the first game of the season that they played against Man U, Fulham have not lost a game on XG.
Wow.
And they've played some serious opponents. They've played Leicester, they beat them. But they played Newcastle. They won 3-1 against Newcastle, out XG'd them. They played City. They lost 3-2 to City, but they won the XG 2.6 to 1.6. They lost 3-1 to Aston Villa, but they won the XG 1.8 to 1.6.
Yeah.
So even in the games that they've lost, they've still been creating more. Now, I say creating more. I've talked about this before, how XG is a weird stat. It's not, it's not a brilliant measurement, because you can rack up a ton of low XG shots. And if you take 25, 30 shots, it looks like you created a lot when you really didn't. But, it's still, broad picture here. It's a decent indication of the fact that you're able to create some kind of attack. And, that's just a fascinating stat. I mean, that's a lot of games at this point. We've played like 10 games at this point.
Yeah.
And the fact that they've won on XG in all of those apart from Man U game 1 is wild to me.
I took both teams to score in this match.
I really, really like that. And I mean, there are so many fascinating ways to approach this one because one, both teams to score. It's about -150, and that's only on FanDuel. It's probably better elsewhere.
Yeah, I got 140 or something.
Ooh, that's nice. That's nice. I mean, look, we've talked about this before about how Wolves are an absolute wagon for both teams to score. And even if you wanted to get Fulham,
I think every Fulham home game too has seen both teams to score.
Yeah, and even if you wanted to get Fulham like moneyline involved, if you think they beat Wolves, which they should at home, it's like -150. You can pair that with something else, no problem. I think it could be sneakily a really good game.
Yo, that's what I said on BetUS. I think no one else agreed, but bet I took super juiced, and I'm not proud of it, but I had to. I took Cunha shot on target. It was like -167 or 165.
You should get that, yeah. You
Bro,
should get that, right?
Get that. I mean, whatever. I took it. I
no shame, Brad. No shame here.
No shame.
You can find value. You can find value. People who think you can't find value at a -160 aren't thinking straight. Yep. You can do. What if the fair odds are -300? Now what you
exactly.
Stick that in your pipe and smoke it, you dicks.
Exactly.
You tell them, Brad. I think this game could be a lot of fun. To be fair, I do think it's really funny because the number one culprit about Fulham like not meeting their XG is absolutely Adama Traore. Like he is the creator of so much XG, but just doesn't finish because the man is so quick and so strong, but he can't do anything else with the ball.
Yeah,
It's just all Adama
do
Traore's
anything.
fault.
He just literally he looks like a freaking walking piece of plastic when he runs.
Yeah,
when he runs like a running piece of plastic down the field.
Mm-hmm. He's a bull in a china shop. You're trying to like aim him in a direction and just let him go.
Yeah.
Which is a lot of fun. Oh, also, if Harry Wilson doesn't start, which to be fair, I think at this point he deserves to start, but if Harry Wilson doesn't start, probably even better, go onto FOTMob, star that guy, wait for the notification of him to sub in, then live bet him to score.
I forgot. I took your boy Smith Rowe to score or assist. The price was like plus 150.
He did it in that last game before the break, right?
Yep.
Yeah, he's good. He's good. You know, fair play to him. I'm glad we got 30 million for him, but God, a player like him would have been so perfect to replace Odegaard while he was out hurt.
Yeah.
It is what it is. We made the sale. I was happy with the sale. Can't argue with 30 million for a guy that played like 2 games for us last season.
For him, he's regular starter contributing.
Yeah, that's all he needed. He needed regular playing time and faith, which he wasn't going to get at Arsenal.
Yep.
I mean, it is what it is. But yeah, so that game should be fun. I didn't want to talk about the Everton-Brentford game. That game just doesn't look fun to me. What does look fun is Man City against Spurs.
That goddamn game.
This is so because, and here's the thing, I'll set the stage here. Spurs always play Man City weirdly well.
Yes, really tough.
And out of nowhere. Like for the past like 3 or 4 seasons, Spurs could be in the middle of the worst run known to man, and then they'll rock up and draw City 3-3, and it just defies all odds, but they do anyway. And City are arguably the most vulnerable that they've ever been. Pep Guardiola has lost 4 games in a row for the first time in his entire career. That being said, he has very sadly just signed a new 2-year contract, which really pisses me off, and I think they're going to bounce back and absolutely skull fuck Spurs.
They needed that.
As much as I usually really enjoy preying on Spurs' downfall, but not when it's Man City. This is the only game I will support Spurs in.
But I didn't bet this game at all. I need to see the lineup 100%.
Yeah. I think if Kulusevski gets to start for Spurs, which he should, I'm going to look at his props. His 2 shots are usually even money, and they definitely will be against City. His assist is like plus 400. I mean, especially if you buy into the fact that Pep is interested in signing him for that, you know, we spoke about this a couple episodes ago, the advanced 8 role that City love to play with their dual centre mids in the middle of the park. You know, as someone who has, you know, I don't like City as a club, but I appreciate the way that Pep has them playing. I think Kulusevski would be a perfect fit for that team. I'd be really concerned if they do sign him. Yeah, and really Pep has got on record to say that he likes Kulusevski. So, say you view this as an audition, maybe you put a little faith into that, and you think Kulusevski is going to ball out. I think his props are worth looking at. But outside of that, it feels like City are just going to handle this one.
Yeah. I don't know. I didn't want any part of it.
Yeah, I think I'm just going to watch it with my eyes closed. Have one eye open like this and be like,
no bets on it. Like that's just like how I have to do
it. I mean, I'll go price up Spurs to score first and Man City to win because Man City just keep doing that.
Yeah.
Pisses me off. I mean, Spurs will give me some hope, but they won't get the job done there. They love to call Arsenal bottlers, but we're talking about bottlers. They are bottlers.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't got
big time.
They haven't got a backbone. They wouldn't know what a backbone was if it smacked them in the face. But yeah, should be a fun game.
Yeah.
And then, you know, speaking of new manager boosts, well, I guess it was more of a new contract boost for Pep, but we want to talk about the new manager boost. On Sunday, we have Ipswich against Man U. Now, you know, they've been cooking under Van Nistelrooy. Van Nistelrooy has moved on. He's left the club with his boys. And Amarin has finally arrived from Sporting.
Finally.
So now we finally get to see this new manager, you know, impose his system. And, you know, I couldn't ask for a better game than against Ipswich.
Yeah, I took United minus 1.5 on the corner handicap. I really like that bet. I feel like with the system, your first game, you don't want to lose, right? Like you're going to want to play. You want to get that win. It just felt like it lined up really nice.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's a great time, I mean, Ipswich, and I say this, in relative terms, Ipswich have been playing relatively better than I expected them to. They're still not, they're not winning games, but they're doing a really good job of turning losses into draws. They had a run of like 3 or 4 draws in a row, and I was just like, those are all games they could have lost, and those are games that like Southampton would and have been losing. Whereas Ipswich can are eking out draws like a draw with Villa, like they're eking out all these like 1-1, 2-2 results where they're just like, they get a point. Just find a way to just get a point.
Like a grinder bet. Like a bet that they grinded their way for that point.
I mean, they've got some, again, relatively speaking, decent players. Delap, a good striker to have. That's a proper champion. That's a proper championship striker. That's actually adapted to the Prem. I mean, Amari Hutchinson has done less than I thought he would, but he's still a good creative force to have in the midfield. And Sammy Smodics, I mean, everyone that knows me knows I love this guy at Blackburn. He was awesome to bet on. And now they've signed him. He's less of a striker for them and more he sort of plays on the left wing now, which hey, fair enough. He's made it work, and I like him as well. So they've got a lot of decent players. I mean, like I said, it's all relatively speaking. We're not talking about not talking about world beaters here, but for a squad that's come out of the championship, they've managed to put together a decent quality of player that could, in theory, just about keep them in the Prem. It'll be tight, but they, they're going to make a good effort out of it. So this is by no means an easy game, but if you could handpick a game for your first game in charge of Man U, Ipswich is probably you might say you'd want to start with a home game, but honestly, I think it's better to get an away game under your belt, get that game in, so you've had a chance to play a game before you come back to Old Trafford, and you've got the theatre of dreams is screaming at you, wanting you to succeed, but you've got the fans right there.
Did you did you see that quote that Transfer News Live put, that he was stunned by the size of the job on his hands at Manchester United his first week of training? And I put in quote, "These do suck." Probably Emran.
For sure. Although that transfer live news account have been tweeting some absolute bullshit this week. They were tweeting out shit like Endrick to Southampton. It was just like, where the fuck did you pull that from?
Yeah.
That's I've said this before, but you gotta, and I feel kind of bad because my dad will send these like transfer rumors into our family WhatsApp, and it'll just be like this like random ass transfer site that's just like Endrick linked to Southampton. He'll be like, "Ooh, how the mighty have fallen," and I'll be like, if it's not Fabrizio or David Ornstein or anyone else from the Athletic, don't believe it. Especially, and I think he sees a blue check and he thinks, "Oh, that's official." And you kind of have to think the total opposite now with the way that Twitter is, because you're like, okay, he is getting money. This account will get money from the more interactions this post gets. So they are incentivized to create shit that people will just click on and interact with, whether it's true or more likely, whether it's complete bullshit.
Yeah.
And it's just like, Endrick to Southampton. Who is believing that? No one with a brain. And I was just like, I don't want to be mean. I was just like, what?
You just made me feel so bad because you're like, who's believing that? And when I saw that, I was like, oh, that'd be interesting.
No, Brad, no.
They got me, bro. They did get me.
Come on.
You
know that's not going to happen.
I know.
In what world, Brad? In what world? They had that, and then to be fair, they had a slightly more plausible one, which was Arda Güler to Arsenal, and I was just like, look, I don't think Madrid are letting him go, but it's not like they haven't, they have a history of letting their attacking midfielders down. They let Ozil come to Arsenal, they let Odegaard come to Arsenal, so like in theory, at least that one's kind of plausible, but not now. That's like you got to give Güler like 4 or 5 years of not getting into the Real Madrid squad before he moves to Arsenal. He's still a teenager. They're still buying into the potential. They haven't given up on him yet. Got to wait for like Odegaard was signed at the age of 15 or something like that. Remember when Odegaard was like the best young player in the world? There was so much hype around him, and then Madrid just didn't play him, and then they were just like, yeah, okay, Arsenal, have him for 35 million. And I was just like, okay, thank you very much. I'll take that any day. And he's still world class.
Yep.
Makes me very happy. But yeah, like even that, I was just like, look, it's not going to happen. Not this summer anyway. But damn, I'm sorry, Brad. I didn't mean to cook you like that.
All good, man. You know, it happens.
It happens. It is what it is. An accidental roast of my co-host.
Yeah, it happens.
My co-roast, one might say.
Your co-roast.
Like
we live with this pain.
Yeah. But that's really all the Premier League I wanted to talk about. I don't really give a shit about the Liverpool game. You know, it's Liverpool should get the job done against Southampton, and if they don't, then that'll make me happy. You know, if Southampton can somehow force Liverpool to drop points, but I don't see it happening. The only bet in that Liverpool game that looked remotely appetizing to me was under 3.5, but I'm just not going to do it.
No, hell no.
It's just a high line. Every time I see under 3.5, that's bettable.
And most of the time when it's over 3.5, when the over's like juiced, so you get like a good price on the under 3.5 too.
Yeah. Like, hey, we'll see. But you know, it'll probably end 3-1 or 4-0, and I'll be like, well, I guess it wasn't too high after all. And I think there's a Monday game. I think it's like Newcastle West Ham, but even that, weird game. Don't know how I feel about it. Newcastle are an incredibly bipolar team, and fuck knows what West Ham are doing. So I'm out of that game.
Yeah, I ended up taking Joe Linton shots.
That's fair.
Yeah,
if he starts, I would love it if he starts on the wing, but he's been ripping. The problem is he'll take like 3 or 4, or he'll take 0. He's just one of those guys.
Yes.
He has no hey, we'll see.
It's literally do or die. Is no middle. He's not just taking one shot. He's the kind of guy who, if he wants to go after it and go for it, he's gonna go for it. If not, he's not fucking shooting at all.
Yep. That's the way it is. But alrighty, let's get out of England. Let's hop over to Spain, because there are some interesting games in Spain. And well, I say interesting games. It's not going to surprise anyone. It's Barca's game and it's Madrid's game. One day there'll be an exciting game outside of that, but frankly, that feels rare. Barcelona are strangely bettable.
Right?
They're minus 160, and I can only assume it's because Yamal is probably still getting rested.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I can assume. He set up the international break, and I guess they're finally realizing they're finally realizing they can't play their 17-year-olds like 90 minutes twice a week. Oh, funny that. It's almost like we were saying that the whole time.
Yeah.
But even if he does get rested, you know, you play Olmo at attacking mid, you slot Fermin Lopez on the right wing, and you put Rafinha on the left and Lewandowski up top.
Get rested, right? He played in that last match, so only 1 day of training.
Yeah, I mean, look, they can still rock up with a good squad, and they're minus 160. Good squad. They're minus 160 on the money line, and yeah, I mean, it's weird that they're minus 160 on the money line, but they're minus 200 to score 2 goals, which vaguely implies that they think that Celta Vigo can score 2. I guess is like they're saying that's a likely, well, relatively speaking, a more likely scenario.
Yeah.
Which I don't see happening. So I don't know. The money line is tempting. I wouldn't take it straight, but I might pair it with something else.
Yeah.
But who knows? I mean, but also we say that, and then we see this Barcelona squad just get like weirdly just like not turn up, but like they should be able to turn up in this game. It's just rare to see them. You know, they were getting priced at like minus 120, minus 130 away from home early in the season. We thought it was a trap. Turns out it wasn't. They were just winning games really easily. With Yamal out, it's a little bit more tempting. Well, it's more like not tempting, but you can understand why the money line is now like this rather than the minus 300 that it had eventually become. But yeah, I mean, even if Yamal isn't playing, I still think that's potentially worth looking into. Barcelona in theory, should not struggle in this game.
They should not struggle at all.
But we will see. The more interesting game I want to talk about is, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but I have no idea how to say this team's name. Legans?
Yeah.
Is that how you say it?
Yeah. Legans or Leganes? Like,
okay, because it doesn't, I don't know. My limited knowledge of Spanish is not ideal, but none of those letters seem like they
You know, and what's really annoying when you watch them on TV, they like say it with an accent.
Oh yeah, they say well yeah, but all the English commentators doing La Liga commentary just put the most forced Spanish accent.
It's
it's hilarious. It's so funny. I mean, it's terrible, but it's so funny.
It's like they do it like extra.
Yeah, like like it'll be like this. I don't know who's on the English commentary team, but it'll be like, and coming onto the field, marching out of the tunnel, it is Barcelona. that's how they do it, and it's just like it just comes out of nowhere.
Leganes.
Ah, you looking up the phonetic pronunciation?
Yep.
Leganes. Okay.
Had to. Dude, bro, they literally it freaking drives me nuts. It's like that, and then it's when the Germans do the Italian. The Germans do the Italian broadcasting. I'm like, these freaking Germans on this Italian broadcasting, man.
It's fun.
Butchering these names because they're trying to sound so Italian.
I know. It's entertaining though. Yeah. But this game is really interesting because for some reason Madrid is still being priced as these defensive wagons. It makes no sense to me. But let's break down the injuries that Madrid have. So, out for the season, Carvajal and Militao. That's 2 year starting defenders right there. And now currently injured, who will most likely not be playing. Tchouaméni probably not playing. Alaba is still out. That's not a surprise, but he's not fit yet. Vazquez out. Rodrigo is injured back in training. I don't know if he's fit to start. He, out of all of these guys, might be the one that maybe makes the bench.
Yeah.
I don't know, but Tchouaméni, Alaba, and Vazquez not playing. So the rumor that I've heard is that Valverde is playing right back. So
Jesus Christ.
So here's the thing. Now, not many books offer unders on shots, but if you can find a shots line on Valverde and it's at 1.5, and he's still being priced as a midfielder, and you can get like -120, -130, even -140 on under 1.5 shots, take that shit if he's playing right back. Absolutely, because he, like I said with Joelinton, for Valverde when he's playing center mid, his role can change so much. Either he can push forward and he can take a couple of shots, like absolutely, but you can't rely on it. He does not have a flaw, and that's as a midfielder. Oftentimes he's called in. He is a proper box to box, and oftentimes he's forced to come back and defend, especially now that Carvajal has been injured and Vazquez is doing fuck all, bombing up the right wing. He's still got to come back. So. Even as a center mid, he's still doing a lot of defensive responsibility. And when that defensive responsibility is thrust upon him, he is not moving forward to get into shooting position. Now put that guy in right back. He is not Madrid outside backs do venture forward, but not into shooting positions. They come forward to cross the ball in. So if you want to look at his assist, that, I wouldn't be opposed to that. If you want to look at his assist, if he's playing right back. But if you can get an unders line on his shots and the line is at 1.5, even if you can get even if it moves to 0.5 and you can get like +160 or +170 on him to take no shots all game, will you be sweating balls for 90 minutes? Yeah, absolutely. That's a miserable line to sweat. The guy could shoot from anywhere if the ball comes to him 30 yards out and no one closes him down, he will rip that shot. So that would suck from a viewing experience. But if you can get any unders on his shots, I would take that if the man is playing right back.
Sam the sicko.
Yeah, I know I'm a sick bastard, but look, you got to look at it. You got to look at it both ways. Typically I like that. When I'm trying to take advantage of the shots market, typically I look for guys that are out of position, like wing, like outside backs who are playing left wing, or center mids who are playing attacking mid. And they're getting priced like a defender, and I ladder the fuck out of their shots. That's the fun way of doing it. But very rarely, you'll get the reverse situation. It actually happened last year when Tchouaméni moved from defensive mid to centre-back for the first time. I got him, and this is when he was actually starting to shoot a lot. I got in on his shots wave very early for Madrid and France, and his two shots was like +200 or +300 just to take two shots. And then eventually he shot so much that his shots line was eventually set around -120, -120 for at a 1.5 line. So when he moved to centre back for the first time when Militao got hurt last season, I found his under 1.5 shots at -110 on Bet Rivers back when I could actually bet good money on Bet Rivers, and I just slammed that, and I think he took 0 shots all game. So sometimes it's not a fun way of doing it, but it's the same. It's the same exact concept, just flipped. And it happens much more rarely because you don't really see attackers get shifted into defense. And also a lot of books just don't offer unders on player props, which is really fucking annoying. Don't be a coward and offer us a two-way market. Give us a two-way market. The people demand it. That's all I want is a two-way market. But yeah, right now the only book with an under is Bally. So Rivers will also have it, and they only have his shot on target listed, not his shots, which is a bummer. So right now, under 0.5 shots on target is -200. That's not really worth it for me. But if they put his shots line up at 1.5, you can get the under. I would take that.
I like it.
And then if you can't get an under on the shots, but you still want to get into this game, I don't know, how do we say it? Leganés to score a goal -104. Something like that.
Not bad. When you said minus, I was wondering where the price was going. I was like, damn.
No, it's basically even money. And also, if you think Madrid score, which they should score, it would be really embarrassing if Madrid don't score a goal. You can get both teams to score at +105-ish. And keep in mind, Madrid are away from home here. All you need is the home team to find a goal and Madrid to score, which that shouldn't be the struggle. And I really think both teams to score is a great bet here, especially, considering that Madrid's backline is basically decimated.
Very decimated.
I think that's a good look. What about you, Brad? Did you have anything going on in La Liga?
No La Liga for me. I actually, I'm passing La Liga this weekend.
Nice. I was going to talk about Dortmund-Freiburg in the Bundesliga, mostly because it's an exciting game, but I also don't really have much else to say about it, so I might just skip it.
That was a game I have to decide how they line up, but I'm probably going to be on corners in that one. Dortmund over corners or corner handicap in the first half. Freiburg don't give up a ton of corners, which is why I'm not sure where I'm going to go with. I'm going to take corners regardless. They don't give up a ton, but they don't earn a ton. So the handicap might be just beautiful.
Gotcha. Fair enough. But let's hop over to your favorite league, Brad, Serie A. We have a big game on Saturday. We have AC Milan against Juventus. And now you are our resident Juventus expert. So why don't you tell us about this game? Because I think this is a really tricky game.
It's a really tricky game where, honestly, these are two teams. First, let's talk about AC Milan. They're a team with Finesca as their manager who have showed moments of being the best team in Serie A and moments of being the worst team in Serie A.
Yeah.
And a lot of it starts with Leao's attitude. If he's coming with a lot of energy, excited, the team is really good. Also, Finesca's been doing some really, really weird lineup changes, which doesn't make Fonseca. I keep calling him Finesca. Sorry. Fonseca's doing some weird lineup changes. Then you have Juventus, who they don't have the talent of players to be a top club. That's going to come, but they're scrappy bunch. But they also have moments of weakness as well. So I think the draw is going to be the what's going to happen in this game. I didn't look at the price yet because I want to, I'm probably going to wait till game time to bet this. I'm going to guess the price right now. It's going to be 230.
Okay. I guess we'll see.
Oh, 235.
Oh, wait, look at you.
Here's
that's close.
It's like the Serie A draw number right there. 230, 245.
Yeah. I was looking at the lines and I was just genuinely, this game was a no bet for me because you could sell me on basically anything on the side of the total. If you're hey, AC Milan at home should get the win, you get plus money, plus 120, plus 130 to win. I'd be yeah, okay, fair enough. Then it's just okay, Juventus haven't lost in forever. They're double chance at -160. You could pair that with something else. That's really good and be yeah, okay, fair enough. I believe you on that. Then you look at the total and you're under 2.5 in this game, minus 130, minus 140. Okay, yeah, you can sell me on under 2.5 in a Serie A game. That's not hard to do. But then you're like, hey, look at AC Milan's games recently. Look at Juventus's games recently. We've had a lot of goals in these games. We can get over 2.5 at plus money. Yeah, we could get some goals in this game. And I'd be like, yeah, we could get some goals in this game. You're right. So you could sell me on basically any side and any total. And when you can do that, I'm just like, you know what? I'm just not going to touch it. I'm just going to enjoy it.
Yeah.
But I think it'll be really interesting. But if you can get like a Pulisic shot on target at plus money, yeah, I would take that.
You want to take it, especially like Juventus are going to be like, yo, Milan, have the entire ball. We do not care. It's all the ball. Yeah, that's yours.
Yeah. Hey, maybe we can whip up a fun little USA parlay, Pulisic goal and a Tim Weah goal.
Yeah.
That would be fun.
Man.
If Americans ball out like that against each other on the international stage.
Let McKinney start and let get a McKinney shot on target.
Yes. Or hey, even better, McKinney assist.
Oh my God, yeah.
He had 2 assists. Both to Pulisic in the semifinal. And it was a bummer because I wanted his assist in the first leg. It was plus 400 in the first leg. He didn't get one. And then it was plus 200 in the second leg. And I was just like, well, I'm not betting it at that. And then he got 2. And I was just like, well, you dick. The only other game in Italy I wanted to talk about was Napoli against Roma. And mostly that's because Claudio Ranieri has returned to Roma. I mean, we've talked about Roma's managerial situation being an absolute fuckfest.
Yeah,
this is an interesting solution. And now we said that Amarin at Man U had a dream, not a dream game, but a very decent matchup in Ipswich for his first game. Ranieri gets Napoli, so that's the complete opposite end of the spectrum when we talk about first games in charge.
I have no action in that game. Roma's on my shit list right now.
That's fair enough. I know we talk about a new manager boost, but seeing Napoli at minus 140 at home against this Roma side is tempting. I'm just saying it's kind of tempting.
Oh my God.
I don't know if I can pay the juice on minus 140, but hey, if I can get plus money on a Scott McTominay shot on target, now that would tempt me. Scotty's been balling. That was a weird signing. Scott McTominay and Billy Gilmore to Napoli is such a random ass double transfer.
It's been working at least for McTominay.
Yeah. Does Gilmore even get good minutes for them?
He's been fun to bet on.
Billy Gilmore or Scott McTominay?
No, McTominay.
I was gonna say. I was like, what?
No, I'm not putting hard-earned cash on.
I was like, are you being an absolute sick bastard and finding plus money on Billy Gilmore to take a single shot? Because that's fun. If you want to be a sick fuck, that's a fun thing. That's a fun way to do it. I didn't have anything else for Serie A. I don't really have much for Ligue 1 apart from the Rennes-Lyon game, mostly because Lyon are in the news right now because they might be getting relegated.
My God, dude.
And fun fact, it closed before I could send it anywhere. But I saw that news and I immediately went to DraftKings to find it because they're the only ones I know that offer a relegation market.
Yeah.
And they had Lyon to get relegated at 130 to 1.
Holy shit.
But no, I'm limited. I'm mad limited on soccer bets on DraftKings, especially high odds ones. Like they'll let me put like $100 on a builder, but anything that's like above plus 200 or plus 300, I'm immediately capped to like $5. I was able to get $2 down on this. But if Lyon, I don't know how they handle administration relegations. But if that gets paid out, that would be fun. Just because it's a plus 13,000. But yeah, they are in. It's not confirmed, but they are on definite warning, and they've been told that if they don't fix their financial situation, then they're going to get sent down to.
That's gonna be wild.
To League. Is it? I want to say it's not. I know how to say Ligue 1, but it's just League 2. But that sounds wrong. So I'm not. They're just going to get sent down a division. Ligue 2. I think it's on Ligue 1 2.
Yeah.
1 2 3.
Yeah.
I took French in school back in the day.
I didn't. My wife's French.
Oh, well, you have an advantage there. But yeah, I mean, I don't really know. I mean, it's really interesting because when you have that sort of like sword of Damocles hanging over your head, I don't know how the team responds. I mean, you kind of hope that they would play well because I feel like at this point they're potentially putting themselves up for sale in the January transfer window. I mean, the players won't do it, but my guess is Lyon are going to try and sell some of their, try and sell an asset.
Yeah,
I think the best case scenario here is if a Saudi Arabian team comes in to buy Lacazette.
Yes, and I think they're going to offer him because he's old. People have been doing old legends.
He is getting on a bit. Because I think if they can offload him, at least then you've got Georgios Mitazaki and Gift Orban as your two strikers.
Yeah.
If they are forced to sell either one of those, I think they're kind of shooting themselves in the foot, just to save themselves. And at that point, they might be able to stay in the division, but you don't want to handicap your entire, offense.
Yeah.
I think if they sell Lacazette, it would suck because obviously he's their, he's a club talisman, and they love him over there, which, fair enough.
Yeah.
But, he's 37 now at this point, I think. Lacazette, I mean, he's getting old. So if you can get some big Saudi money to shift him away, and that might save the club, I think that's worth it. More worth it than selling off, one of your prized young assets in Gift Orban or selling off a guy that can score in Georgia's. But we'll see. We will see. That's a funky game, but it's an interesting situation to keep an eye on.
Yeah.
But
it'll be just a bunch of memes.
Yeah.
If it happens.
Yeah, I mean, think about think about poor Bordeaux. Bordeaux got sent down to the 4th division, and now they've got a big man Andy Carroll just scoring goals for the love of the game down there. It's a lot of fun. But I'll tell you what is fun, Brad. We got Champions League back, so let's wrap up we'll wrap up our episode. We kind of went long, but coming back from an international break, I feel like we're making up for not having an episode last week. So I feel like we're a little bit entitled to get a little bit of bonus time.
I don't think we didn't run on.
No. I didn't talk about Arsenal at all.
Well,
I did my best.
Slightly.
Yeah, well, Arsenal playing, to be fair. I'm allowed to talk about them when I'm talking about the game, Brad.
Just keeping you honest.
Yeah, I'm doing my best. I think I made a valiant effort here. But let's talk about the Champions League. And first game on the list, Sporting against Arsenal. Oh, what a surprise. Okay, this is a bit ridiculous. Sporting are at home. Arsenal are not in the best form right now. And you can get Sporting Lisbon tie no bet at like plus 130. I mean,
draw.
Draw. I mean, yeah, but like, I don't know. You think about Man City. City.
My God,
they tore through Man City. Destroyed. I mean, I'm just going to wait for them to list Gyökeres odds on goals because
you have to take him. Don't you? And he's as form he's in right now. You have to at least at the very minimum take a brace.
I'll ladder. I don't give a shit. I'll split up a unit and go 0.7 on one goal, 0.2 on a brace, and 0.1 on a hat trick. Bang. That's how I split up a unit on a goal ladder, and he'll have good odds too. It's Arsenal. He'll get one. He'll probably get one.
Yeah.
God, I hope we sign him. But yeah, I mean, really, I absolutely have to take a Sporting tie no bet. And again, it's not. It does help. Look, I'll be perfectly honest. It helps that I am an Arsenal fan because either my club wins or my bet wins, or I get my money back. There's, that I will win in some way, shape, or form in this situation, but that's not why I do this. I know good spots to bet against Arsenal. This is one of them.
This is one of them.
This is one of them. Just take the tie no bet. If it's a draw, you get your money back. That's fine. Yeah. I will never complain about getting my money back.
You know what the good thing about that is too? Is like you can always just split half a unit on both the draw and draw no bet. Get your money back, hit one. Like if you're investing a unit either way,
That's true. I was just thinking about doing half a unit for these, like for the nice like plus money tie no bets, but I'm betting on the underdog. I usually just go half a unit just so I'm not going too crazy. But yeah, if I feel like doing a full unit, you could absolutely do it that way.
Mathematically, it doesn't make sense. I just did the math.
Well, it depends on the odds you're getting. Well,
yeah, I think you need at least like plus 115.
Yeah, well, it's plus 120, plus 130 on the tie no bet.
Oh, I think it's a plus 105.
Oh no! You can get it's good. It's like plus 120,
Oh yeah,
plus 130.
Because then you're at least making 0.25, or you're making 1.2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Depending on the odds of a draw. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I want Arsenal to play well, but this is just, especially away from home in Portugal, that's a tough place to go. And this is the same team that knocked us out of the Europa League a couple of seasons ago, and that was a different Arsenal squad, and that was a different Sporting squad. But I would say Sporting have got significantly better. Yes, because of Gyökeres, and that plays a big part in this. But in general, the whole team is good, and Arsenal, if they have a fully fit squad, are a good squad. But this is a game that Sporting can probably eke out a draw, or they find a way to win one. So we'll see. Yeah. I think it's a good spot to go against Arsenal. But enough about that team. Enough about that red team from North London. Let's talk about some other teams. We get Bayern against PSG. Yes. This should be fun. PSG are in trouble here. I know we're only 4 games in.
No, PSG are in big trouble.
PSG are in trouble. They are not in the mid-table playoff zone.
They're not good in the midfield.
Yeah. Well, they've got decent players, but they all they have are ball-playing centre mids.
Yeah, they have no holding mid in there.
No, the closest they have to a holding mid is Zaire Emery, and he's about 17.
Yeah, he's not good. He's not good yet.
Not yet. He's tall and he's got a physical presence, but he's I don't know. This is the weird comparison, but he's he's young, he's French, he's the soccer equivalent of Wembanyama. He doesn't really know what to do with his body yet. They haven't figured out quite what they want to do. You've got this big physical presence, but you're playing him as a box-to-box, ball-playing centre mid when you really just want this guy to be a lockdown 6, which they're just not doing. So
yeah,
they're getting run over in midfield because they haven't figured out how to use their giant ass phenom in midfield yet. But hey, their ball-playing midfielders are good. If we can get a nice odds on João Neves assist, I love a João Neves assist.
Yep, and we'll see goals. So
yeah, that should be fun. Looking forward to that one. I put Barca Brest in here mostly because the odds on Brest are borderline disrespectful. Yes, I know it's Barcelona. Yes, I know it's at the Nou Camp or at wherever they're playing. I don't know what the hell they're doing with their stadium nowadays.
Yeah, they're not at the Nou Camp, but I know
they're at home. But Brest, the dichotomy between Brest in the Champions League and in Ligue 1 is wild. They are in 13th in the league, and yet they are in the automatic qualification top 8 in the Champions League. It makes no damn sense. I don't get it.
They are the biggest pain in the ass because you're like, oh my god, they're in
is this team good?
Champions League, and then you go bet them in the league, and they're losing as a minus 130 favorite, and you're like, what the fuck?
Makes no damn sense. I don't get it. But yeah, you can get Brest to score a goal at plus money. So just throwing that out there. Look, I know it's Barcelona. Barcelona are a very good squad. They will keep the ball off you. They will keep possession. They will run up the score. But they also play with this absurdly high line. Yeah. And, Brest have this one guy, Simo, on the wing, who is pacey as fuck and will get in behind. He will get several chances on the break, and all you need him is to score one of them.
Yep.
Are Barcelona going to keep a clean sheet? They might do. But I just think a team that's been playing as well as Brest have, by the way, that will never not be funny. I could say Brest all day long. Will never not be funny. I just try and
lay off the breasts.
I just try and, not giggle while I'm trying to give this, incredibly analytical line, this brilliant analysis here, Brad. But they're playing well in the Champions League, and, they should be able to find a goal, you would hope. That being said, it's probably their hardest game.
Yeah, easily.
So we'll see. But that's, I think that's really interesting. Another really interesting game, and I don't know, now you're a Juventus fan, so I'm not sure how you feel about this, Brad, but Aston Villa against Juventus. And I put in brackets, Juventus disrespect, because Aston Villa, I know they beat Bayern at home. Fair play. They have been doing well in the Champions League. But like I said, they are in a terrible run of form right now. They've lost 4 in a row in all competitions. And yes, they're at home. But in no way, shape, or form should Juventus be plus 200 on the money line.
Juventus.
And plus 120, plus 130 on a tie no bet. In the Champions League, this is Juventus.
Yep. I'm
My
taking
God.
Juventus. I just think Vlahovic is going to be able to get in behind that back line
Yeah.
of Aston Villa, and like Juventus actually really like when you look, they normally don't give up leads. Like
Yeah.
their problem is if they're going to lose a game or tie, they concede and then they have to fight from it. But they don't give up leads, and Villa just let in too many goals. I don't even know what their problem is. I can't put my finger on it. Remember, we just talked about them earlier in the show that like they are the ones who needed the international break. We'll see if they change from it.
Yeah, we will see. I mean, like, look, if they come out and absolutely spank Crystal Palace, and even then, I might, even then, I think I'll just be tempted to take a better odds on Juventus because if they spank Palace, money will come in on them at home against Juventus. I mean, also to be fair, we got to see how the Juventus Milan game shapes out because I think, but the outcome of both of those games will impact the lines in this Champions League game. But regardless of how it moves, unless Juventus look absolutely horrific against AC Milan, I really think it's difficult to ignore the Tino bet here, even though they were playing away from home. And even though I said the exact same things about Bayern going to play Aston Villa, which then panned out horrifically, I just think it's a number you can't pass up.
Yeah, I'm going to play plus 200 or whatever.
Nice. And that's us a Juventus fan, so you're feeling good about it.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. It's actually the day after my birthday too.
Oh, nice. Happy birthday in advance, Brad.
Thanks, dude. Thanks. I'll be at the sports book for this one.
Nice. Oh, that's a good time.
I'll be at the sports book. I have no plans that day except for I land and we're going straight when I land. We'll have I have like a 30-minute flight. We'll have like the check-in, and then we're going straight to the sports book at the hotel that I'm staying at.
Nice. Well, we've been going for over an hour and a half now. So what I think might be the biggest game of the entire week. We have Liverpool against Madrid in the Champions League. Finally, we get a rematch of that. A fantastic two-legged tie from a couple of years ago when Liverpool went up 2-0 at Anfield and everyone was like, oh my God, it's happening. And then Madrid come back and absolutely demolish them like 5-2. I mean, what a game that was. And the second leg was also fun, but that first leg was just brilliant. And now we get a fantastically in-form Liverpool against a very weak Madrid side. Oh, I can't wait.
I think it's going to be amazing, but I think Liverpool are going to win. And I think the way Liverpool are playing right now, these kind of prices on Liverpool are without a doubt prices. Regardless who they're playing, you have to bet on them.
Yep. Liverpool are basically even money. Just plus 100 on the money line at home at Anfield. And I mean, you think it's easy. And you think it's so easy, but at the end of the day, there's just that voice in the background that's just going, it's Madrid in the Champions League. It's Madrid in the Champions League. And you're just like, oh my God. You look at Madrid minus 130 on the double chance, and you're like, oh my goodness. It's calling to me. It's calling to me like the Green Goblin mask in the corner of the room. I don't know. I don't want to pick a side on this one. I really just this is a game where I kind of want to just put a bunch of long shot sprinkles on goals and assist combos for both sides and just hope we get an absolute banger again.
Oh yeah.
That's what I think I'll do. We'll see. I think we can get both teams to score over 2.5 in this game, but I say that and Liverpool's defense has been so good.
And so freaking good.
I don't know. I'm just really looking forward to it.
World class slot. But you know what's funny? We do these breakdowns, and I thought I saw something. I'm going to bring this back up. I talked about this before the season, and I'm going to bring it back up. Slot at his time at Feyenoord, each year that he was there, from his first year they took over to the year he left, they improved defensively. They were conceding 1.6, 1.7 goals per game. The year he took over, it ended up dropping to 1.3. Then it went to 1.0, and then it went to 0.9. Which was pretty cool, or 0.8, which was pretty cool to see in that 3-year span that he was there.
Yeah, fair enough. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's gonna be a great game, and we'll see. Well, we'll see how Madrid handle their league game first and foremost. See what their lineup looks like. See who's fit and available. But I also want to take Salah props. Let's not forget that that Champions League final.
Yeah,
Salah got when Sergio Ramos came in and elbow flipped Salah onto the floor and he came out 20 minutes in. That changed the course of the entire game. You know,
Yep.
I have a strong feeling.
I remember that game. I had a Liverpool future, and I remember where I was. I was on vacation in Tampa, and I went to this bar, Hat Tricks. I went to Hat Tricks. Is the name of the bar.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, couldn't believe this many people were there for a freaking Champions League final. We sat at this like table. I was like, I need a good seat. We sat in the middle of the bar, people bumping into us, and it was some of the best chicken wings I've had in my entire life. But I was pissed because I lost money.
Whatever. You win some, you lose some.
Yeah.
But looking forward to that one. All right. Well, I think it's about time we wrapped up. We have this might be our longest ever episode. You know, the boys are back in town. It's back bigger than ever before. Pause.
Whoa.
Hey, you're a little spicy. Yeah.
Bigger than ever.
Oh yeah. That's the name of the episode right there, baby. That's the name of the episode.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, it's about time we wrapped up. But hey, we didn't have an episode last week, so it's bonus content, and we didn't yap as much as we used to.
No,
I say we very very loosely. It's usually me, but it's good to be back. We will be back. Well, I say we will have an episode next week, but Brad will be away celebrating his birthday and off for Thanksgiving. We will be back. We will have a special guest on the podcast, so stay tuned. I'll be here. I'll be here with a guest, so stay tuned for that one. And yeah, so it's nice to be back, Brad. It's so good to have. Thank God this international break is over and we have proper games back on. And no more international breaks until like March next year. Thank the Lord.
Hell yeah.
We've got a straight, 3 or 4 months of proper football. None of this woke nonsense playing for your country. This is proper ball. I love it. Brad, before we go, anything you want to plug?
Yeah, find me on X at MrBradThomas. There's actually an episode of the EPL show from BetUS on YouTube. Just go to BetUS Soccer and you'll see it there.
Beautiful. You guys can follow me on Twitter at FIFA Brit. I am recording content for the Gold Boys YouTube channel again, which is a lot of fun. So if you want more in-depth breakdowns of games, you can check out my videos there on the Gold. Just look up Gold Boys on YouTube and you'll find it. Maybe the producers can put a link in the YouTube description when it gets well, that doesn't make any sense. Why would they put it? If you're watching the podcast on YouTube, you know damn well where our YouTube channel is. I guess that makes no sense. But if you're listening at home on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts, just go look up Gold Boys in the YouTube search bar. You will find those videos. If you're not a member of Gold Boys, now is a brilliant time to sign up. We've got NBA going on, NFL in full swing, and of course, Proper Soccer is back. You can sign up at goldboys.com. Like I said, brilliant time to sign up. You will not regret it. Thank you again to the Gold Boys Network for continuing to produce this podcast, even though we consistently blitz through our recommended time allocations and just usually we yap about absolute bullshit. But this was a very productive hour and a half, Brad, so don't let them tell you otherwise. But yeah, thanks guys. Thanks for allowing us to continue to do this. It's a lot of fun. To everyone at home, best of luck with all your bets this weekend. I'm sure you are as happy as we are that the international break is done and the club football is back. Brad, I'm going to miss you next week, but I'll see you in a couple of weeks. It's always a pleasure to see your beautiful face. I hope you have a good weekend. And to everyone at home, good luck, and we will catch you guys next time. Peace out.
Peace.